Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. In which of the following cases burden to prove innocent rests on the accused? Dowry death, cases under SCST Act, child sexual assault cases, drug cases under NDPS Act. The answer to this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of onus of the accused to prove their innocence. Let us try and understand what is this question all about. When it comes to the criminal justice system, there are two parties in a crime. One happens to be the victim, the other happens to be the accused. Who is a victim? The victim is a person who's gone through that particular crime. Who is an accused? An accused is a person who is assumed to have committed that particular crime. So what happens in the criminal justice system? It is the prosecution which has to prove it is the accused who has committed that crime. Until the prosecution proves it, it is assumed that the accused has not committed that crime. In most of the criminal cases in India, it is the accused who is initially assumed as innocent and not guilty, and only after it is proven by the prosecution, that is when he would be convicted. So this person accused is innocent until proven guilty by the prosecution. But in other laws that are present in India, like in the dowry death, like in the cases under the SCST Act, child sexual assault cases, which includes the POXO Act as well, and drug cases under the NDPS Act, it is the accused who has to prove to the court of law that he has not committed a mistake. In most of the other laws, the prosecution has to convince to the court of law, but in these cases, it is the accused who has to prove to the court of law that he has not committed such a mistake. Let me give you one of the examples. Under the POXO Act, whenever there is a person arrested under the POXO Act, more responsibility is on the accused to show to the court of law that he has not committed a sexual offense on a minor. So remember, in all these laws, it is the accused who has to show to the court that he is not guilty of the crime. So he has to prove to the court of law that he is innocent. If there are any other laws where the accused has to prove, please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. CAATSA has been imposed on which of the following countries? Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea, Russia, Syria. The answer to this is 2, 3 and 4 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of CAATSA sanctions. Which are the countries which are placed under CAATSA? We have Iran, North Korea and Russia. These are the primary countries which are placed under CAATSA. The United States of America can also impose secondary transactions as well. These are the countries which are primarily under the CAATSA. But if there are other countries who are cooperating, buying defense equipment and its products from these countries, such countries can also be placed under secondary sanctions. So the primary countries are Iran, North Korea and Russia, but secondary sanctions may also be imposed by United States of America if other countries have transaction with these countries. In the present situation, we have India which is planning to buy S-400 missile defense system. So United States of America may impose secondary sanctions. As of now, it has not imposed any sanctions on India, but the law clearly says that any country having transactions with these primary countries, sanctions may be imposed by United States of America. As of now, India does not have any type of secondary sanctions, but it may if United States of America decides to do so. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct? A person to be appointed as a judge of a high court should have been an advocate of a high court for 7 years. A distinguished jurist in the opinion of president can be a judge of the high court. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why? That is because a person to be appointed as a judge of a high court should have been an advocate of a high court for not 7 years, but instead it is 10 years. When you look into the second option, a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the president can be a judge of the high court. This is once again a wrong statement because such a requirement, such a qualification is only for the Supreme Court judge and is not available for the High Court judge. Since Both the statements are wrong. The answer to this would be none. Now let's look into the next practice question. The ministries, departments of the government are created by, is it the president, prime minister, council of ministers, or the cabinet secretary? The answer to this is the president of India. The ministries and departments of the government are created by the president on the advice, on the recommendation of the prime minister, under the rules as prescribed by the government of India, allocation of business rules of 1961. So these rules of 1961 are created as per Article 77 of the Indian Constitution. So the ministries and departments of the government are created by the President of India on the advice of the Prime Minister. Why have we taken both these practice questions? Because this article here makes a mention of the ministry. It also makes a mention of the appointment of the judges. Now let's look into the next practice question. In the context of the history of India, consider the following pairs. We have the term on one side, description on the other side. Eripatti, land revenue from which was set apart for the maintenance of the village tank. Tenures, village donated to a single Brahmin or a group of Brahmins. Gatikas, colleges generally attached to the temples. Which of the pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2016. Gatikas happens to be those type of colleges which are generally attached to the temples. One such Gatika happens to be Gatika at Kanchi, which draws number of students from far and near off places. So Gatikas are nothing but schools which are attached to the temples, a place where learning takes up and ultimately knowledge is transferred from one generation to another. But when it comes to Tanniyurs, it is a wrong statement, as Tanniyurs are nothing but separate villages. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is child welfare committees. We have one of the important legislations called as the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of the year 2015. This act deals with two important parameters. One, it deals with child who is in conflict with law. There is an other point which speaks about child who requires care and protection. So the Child Welfare Committee speaks about all those children which require care and protection. So when it comes to the juvenile justice law, who is a child who is in conflict with law? Any individual who is less than 18 years of age, who has committed an act which is illegal in nature against the laws of the land, such will fall under a child who is in conflict with law. So a child is one who is less than 18 years of age, and if this child has committed an illegal act, it is in conflict with law. So the JJ Act will deal with it. Another part also deals with care and protection. What is this care and protection? Let's say there is an individual who is less than 18 years of age, who is not having parents, who is an orphan, or there is a person who is abandoned by the parents, not taken care by the parents, or there is a child who is ideally sitting on the roads, does not have the food to eat. In such circumstances, this particular institute called as a Child Welfare Committee, which is established under the JJ Act of 2015, will take care of such children who are completely orphaned by the society. So what will happen? Under this particular JJ Act, we have the state government which will establish the Child Welfare Committee. This Child Welfare Committee can be established by the state government for a single district, or it can also be for a group of districts as well. What is the composition of the Child Welfare Committee? It will consist of a chairperson who will be heading this particular committee, and at the same time there will also be 4 other members as well. If we speak about 4 other members, one of the member of this particular committee will also have to be a woman, and at the same time they should also have expertise when it comes to the children as well. So only those persons should be appointed who have an idea about the health, education, welfare activities of the children, and who have served the children for nearly 7 years. Only such people will have to be part of the Child Welfare Committee. What are the functions and responsibilities of this committee? Basically, as we originally discussed, this particular committee will take the responsibility of catering to the needs of the children who are abandoned by the parents. So what will it do? It will take cognizance of receiving the children produced before it. It will conduct all the inquiry to ensure the safety of the children. It will ensure care, protection, rehabilitation and restoration of the children is happening at the pace as decided by the government of a respective state, then there are other registered institutes as well. What are these registered institutes? This will have to be registered with the state government. This registered institute, that is the foster homes, the taking care of the children homes, when they are registered with the government of the respective states, are they meeting the parameters as established by the government, will be taken care by this child welfare committee. So the registered units which will get their money from the state government, are they following the protocols, will once again be looked into by the child welfare committee. So basically what would happen, they will coordinate with various departments involved in the care and protection of the children. For example, the labor department, the women and child department, the police department, and basically they will gather all information from these multiple departments. In case there are any lacunae, such will be addressed, and ultimately care and protection of the children will be undertaken by the child welfare committees. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.